Hello my fellow weirdos, my name is Marie McWilliams and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I am going to be giving you my tips and advice on how to organically grow your Bookstagram. Hey guys, so as I said, today I'm going to be telling you all about my journey through Instagram and my best tips and advice. Before we get into that, if you could please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell button so you get a notification every time I post new content and you guys never miss out on what I post. But now we've got that out of the way, let's get on to today. So I started off on Bookstagram and I'm just coming up to about 12,700 followers. So I've done relatively well there. And Booktube, the reason I started here is because I felt like it was next natural kind of progressive step in the social media world. And I wanted to pass on to you guys how I went from 0 to 12,500 followers and how you could do it too. Now, I want to caveat this, first of all, by saying that I am by no means an expert in these things, okay? I am just somebody who organically grew my own channel, and I'm giving you advice based on my personal experience and my knowledge. I also want to say that I am not the biggest Bookstagrammer in the world. There are people with far more followers than me. But personally, over 12,500, I am more than happy with that. I have made connections with companies. I've even been able to monetize posts and have been paid for posts. So yeah, I feel relatively successful on that particular platform. And that's why I feel like I'm in a position to be able to give you this information. So yeah, everything I'm giving you is based on my real experience, and I am more than happy to answer any questions or anything, put them down below. Now, I'm going to stick to talking about Bookstagram rather than Instagram generally, because that's what I personally have and what my knowledge is sort of more specialized to. I'm also not going to talk today about taking actual Instagram pictures, props, aesthetic, that kind of thing. I'm going to talk more about how to get into the Bookstagram world and how to grow your channel. But if you do want videos about either of those things, let me know in the comments down below and I can certainly get that sorted for you. But yes, as I say, my name on Instagram, by the way, is Bookish Marie. I'll put the link down below if you want to check me out. But let's sort of delve into my particular advice today. So number one, it sounds really obvious, guys, but your username. Make sure if you're targeting a specific genre, in this case, you're looking for bookish people, bookworms, Bookstagram community, then make it obvious from the offset that that's what your account is all about. People are going to find your account through searches, and they're going to be looking for words like reader, reading, books, bibliophile. So what you need to do is make sure that you have something in your username that makes it obvious from the offset that that is what your channel is all about. So those people know that you are interested in the same things that they are, and they'll click and they'll go and they'll check your channel out and they will look and maybe follow you. I am Bookish Marie on Instagram, so it's fairly obvious from the beginning that I'm going to be talking about books. Sounds obvious, but there's a lot of people out there who don't do it. My second piece of advice is to become an active part of the community. Again, this sounds really obvious, but you would be surprised how many accounts I see that just go on, post their image, and then disappear again. If you're not actively engaging with the community, then they won't actively engage with you. And it is a great community. If you are not already a member, I encourage you to get on, because I have made some genuine friends and connections there. I have got the opportunity to collaborate with some incredible people. It is just a wonderful, kind, fun community. But they are not going to kind of open their arms and embrace you if you aren't bothering to do the same. So my best advice to you is to get out there and engage. And I'm going to say this word again and again throughout this video, engage. Go find accounts that you like the aesthetic and you like the content of. Maybe they are into the same types of books as you, whatever. You go, you find them, and then engage with them. Follow them, like their pictures, comment, not spam, guys. Don't be that douche who's like, hey, follow for follow, come see my page, I just posted something. Nobody wants to follow that person. Go onto their page and say something that involves genuine engagement, like, I really loved this book too, or, oh, you liked it, I didn't particularly like this book, or, oh, I love your picture, that's really beautiful, where did you get that? Something like that. Because they are going to respond to you. And if they see you consistently commenting on their page, they are going to check your account out, maybe follow you back and engage with you. And if they come and check you out, then that is how you make friends. And making friends and connecting in the community is a really, really great way to organically grow. If you're sort of constantly hidden in the background and you're not engaging with other people, then people are not going to follow you and your channel is not going to grow. It is that simple. Another thing that I wanted to suggest is to contribute to the community. There are so many ways that you can creatively get involved and to come up with something entirely new, or do something that's been done before, but get involved and contribute and create something. It's not just about taking a pretty picture. It is about being an active member of the community, as I said before. So I know, for example, there is a fantastic account, one of my favorite of all times, called Paperback Bones. This is her here. She has a really great idea where she actually makes soundtracks to her favorite books, like book, movie kind of soundtracks. And you can go on Spotify and listen to those soundtracks. It's a really great idea. What I did was I collaborated with artists that I found and loved on Instagram. So I would write short stories and they would create an image or a piece of art inspired by the story. I also created a hashtag, and that's a great way for you guys to get involved. You could create a hashtag, come up with something that the hashtag is supposed to represent. So with myself, I posted pictures and I encouraged people using the hashtag every image has a tale to come up with something creative inspired by that image. So that could be just another image on your own Instagram, or it could be a piece of art, it could be a piece of music, it could be a story, a poem, anything and everything was up for grabs. A makeup look, whatever. Just have it inspired by the image and then hashtag me, and that would mean that I shouted you out because you used my hashtag, so that introduces you to a new audience. So participating in other people's things as well is a great way to do it. So if you are participating in other people's hashtags and other people's challenges, photo challenges, for example, you could create your own or you could participate on other people's. By contributing to the community, you will get noticed. You may get shout out by the people who created it. And if you create it, other people may join you because they can see your creativity. It's just a really great way to get involved. There are other things you could do, like collaborations with accounts, similar to Booktube, with readathons and read-alongs. You could have shout out for shout out is a popular one. I don't personally do that, but some accounts get together and say, you shout us out, we shout you out, and again, that's another great way to get yourself out there, to get noticed, to make friends. So yeah, there's loads of different things that you can do. You can come up with something that I haven't even mentioned, something entirely new, because you're way more creative than me. Think about, come up with something, contribute, engage. There's that word again. Okay. Another obvious one, hashtags. On Instagram, you can use 30 hashtags for every picture, and I encourage you to use every single one of those. I do. What I would say is don't use random hashtags as clickbait because people will see right through it. Keep your hashtags specific to what you're posting about. I would also encourage you to do your research and look at the hashtags and how many people are posting under that hashtag, because you could be competing with millions of accounts or you could be competing with hundreds or thousands of accounts. And that is a huge difference between you being able to get noticed amongst all those images. So as a prime example, let me just go into my Instagram here and I will look up bookworm, which is 16.4 million images posted using that hashtag. That is a lot of images for you to be competing against. But you could find something smaller, and one that I've seen that I think is just the cutest hashtag ever is Dumbledore's Bookish Army, if you're a Harry Potter fan, and who isn't? And it has 1,000. So you're competing a lot around with a lot less accounts in that case. So do your research, check the accounts that you're following that you like, look at the hashtags they're using, click on them, see how many people there are, and try to find ones with thousands of images rather than millions of images. I always try to go for the ones with like 500,000 less. Sometimes I will go for the bigger ones if it's appropriate, but it's just in the beginning, it's more important than ever that you try to stand out, and it's more difficult to do that if you're competing against millions of people rather than thousands of people. It's that simple. It's just simple math. So that's my advice on that one. As I said before, I'm not going to go into the whole how to take photographs, how to do Instagram thing. If you're on here on this video, you're probably already have an Instagram, you've probably already started, and you sort of are already getting into the swing of things. But aesthetic and style and niche are all incredibly important, just like they are here on YouTube. If you are posting completely random photographs that don't look like they go together, that they could have been done by completely different accounts. If you're talking about books and then something completely random the next second, people aren't going to pay attention and they're not going to follow you because you are targeting so many different people that nobody's interested. You want to try and keep it specific. So this is about Bookstagram. Let's talk about books, reading, writing, book specific stuff. And you want to keep your page looking consistent. Now, my style, if you go back through my Instagram, has evolved greatly over the years, and I'm still changing it up all the time. There's nothing to say once you pick a particular scheme or aesthetic that that's it, you're stuck with it forever. That's not the case. But while you have that scheme, just try to be consistent with it, okay? So I'm going to show you a few examples here to illustrate my point. So Paperback Bones, who I already mentioned, her account is a kind of warm autumnal, so you've got a lot of oranges and browns. Mine is personally quite gothic, quite dark. The Book Boy, his is beautiful, bright colours. So there's, oh, and then there's more of a minimalist. I'm going to go for the Cozy Reader, who's a friend of mine, Chloe. You see, hers is more quite minimalist, whites and beiges. So there's a million different things that you could do, but what I'm trying to tell you to do is to be consistent, because people are going to be attracted to an image, first of all, based on its style, its aesthetic. And if you have a page that they then click into and that aesthetic is just right across the board, it's clearly done by the same person with the same style, they are going to be much more likely to follow you. But as I said, you can evolve, you can change, and some people will put like three little blank images to separate one aesthetic from the other when they want to change seasons, for example, when they want to go from like a more bright colorful summer to more of a winter. But myself, I am all about sticking with the dark and gothic. Yeah, it's up to you. World's your oyster. Again, this is going to sound incredibly obvious, but post consistently. It's the same with YouTube, guys. If you aren't posting on a regular basis, then your content is not getting out there. It is not going to get noticed. People will follow you and they will want to see your posts every day. So what I try to do is that I post at the same time every day as well, so that people kind of know roughly when it's coming. And I try to post it at a time where both the UK and Europe are awake, as well as America, because I have quite kind of, my audience is sort of divided between the UK and America mostly. So I know that can be difficult if you have, I work shifts, so that can be quite awkward, but there are ways around that. You can get apps that will post for you. You just schedule your post. I use Hootsuite. There's lots of different apps. Just research it, find one that works for you, and you don't have to pay for those. And that'll put your photo up at whatever preferred time, whether you're in work or you're out or whatever, it'll do it for you. So that's a great way around that. And yeah, make sure you're just doing it regularly, guys. If you aren't posting regularly, nobody is going to be interested. I can't tell you enough. The other thing that I do quite often is I try to encourage engagement, there's that word again, in each individual post. So I will ask a question, propose a game. You could play this or that. You could play the predictive text game. I ask them about the book that I'm reviewing. I ask them what they think of my opinion on something, what their favorite season is, anything and everything. Ask them a question, get them to engage. I find that people are much more likely to comment on a post if they are answering a specific question or a specific game. So that's a great way to encourage engagement, encourage comments, encourage likes on your images. Use your stories. This is so underutilized by so many accounts. Your stories are an incredible resource on Instagram. If you're unfamiliar with it, they're the little circles at the very top of your page, and each of those is a 30-second story. They can be an image, they can be a boomerang, they can be a video, they can be a poll, they can be anything. There's a million ways you can do it, but post stories all throughout the day. It is a great way for you to post content that doesn't go with your aesthetic. Like if I see something that's really brightly colored, that's not going to go on my page as much as I like it. It's just not going to match. So I can put it on my stories. If I see other people's photos and content that I like, I can share it through my stories, and that's a great way to get new followers. If you get noticed by other people and they share your content to their audience, that's spreading the word about your page, your photos. So yeah, a funny meme, whatever, share it, a GIF, anything, everything. And when I get post book mail, I post little videos on my stories. It's just a great way to engage. And if you look at your homepage, you'll see your stories are kind of right along the top. If the person who's here first for me, next to myself, is going to be the person who literally last posted a story. So the more you post, it kind of bumps you up to the top of the people that follow you, and they'll be able to see your stories. I also, every time I post a new post, I share it to my stories. I kind of cover it up a little bit because I don't want to have the post up there. Otherwise, why would people visit my page? But I'll put something over it like a GIF, or I'll color it in a little bit and I'll say, I've posted a new post, go check it out. Things like that. It's just, again, encouraging engagement. Engagement. Word of the day, guys. All right. Business account. It is a fantastic feature of Instagram. I have a business account. The only kind of caveat is that you have to have a Facebook that's linked to it. But you don't have to have millions of followers or thousands of followers or hundreds of followers to have a business account. You can have one right from the beginning. And it gives you insights that are invaluable to you on your Instagram page. They will tell you everything from the audience that you have, their gender, their location, because things like that are really important. If your location is primarily in America, then you're going to need to adjust your times to make sure that the people are awake when you're posting their photos, because the time differences, guys. So if I show you my insights, show you what I mean. So it's divided into 3 categories. So first up is content insights, and it's going to show you how many people have seen each individual post. So this one right at the top has been seen by 2,246 people. It does the same with your stories. Activity, it tells you your best days for engagement, how many accounts you've reached this week, how many people have visited your profile from an image, how many have clicked your website. I have my YouTube link as my website at the top of my Instagram page, so people can go to my Instagram if they like it. They can go to my YouTube and then maybe follow me there, and it works here too. In reverse, if people come and they like my YouTube video, like you guys, maybe you'll go and check out my Bookstagram, and it kind of feeds into each other. So again, getting people to engage is the main key here. How many impressions, how much of a reach, and then finally the audience section tells you your growth overall. My locations, my top locations are by city. It's London, New York, country, US, UK. Age range, gender, which days are best to post. It tells you everything, and those tools are going to really help you in deciding what is the content that works best for you, what is the best time to post. I genuinely recommend it. Another thing I would tell you to do is to tag relevant companies and publishers. If you're putting up a book, tag the author, tag the publisher. If you know the person who designed the cover, tag them too. If you do that enough, companies, no matter how big the publisher, are going to take notice, and they're going to see you consistently tagging them in reviews. They're going to see that you're consistently getting views on those, and they may be inclined to share your image to their audience, which is a great way for people to come and check you out. Or they may send you books and things like that for you to review, which is great, because one of the things that I noticed about Bookstagram and BookTube is if you want to be the reviewer who's reviewing the latest books, the biggest things to come out. I don't personally do that, I just sort of read what I like, but if you want to read like the latest big release, it's quite expensive. Now there are ways around it. You can go to your local library, but there's only so many copies in the library and everybody's vying for it because it's the latest release. You might end up in a situation where you're spending quite a lot of money just to try to get people to click on your videos because they're searching for that specific title. If you can get a relationship with publishers, with authors, they will start to send you things, and that's what happens to me quite often on Instagram. I get sent book boxes, I get sent books by publishers, by authors to review, and it means that I get to create content. I have something to talk about, I have something to read, without costing me an absolute fortune. Obviously, it's not about getting free stuff, and if you try to do that and be that account where you're like, give me free stuff, then again, nobody's going to like you. But it's a positive side effect of kind of growing your account. And I also see it as a way for me to sort of read outside my comfort zone. And because I'm getting a book for free, I can read something that maybe I wouldn't normally have purchased maybe it's not a horror or a crime or something I would normally go for, something a bit fluffier. But I like to do that every now and then to read outside the box. So yeah, tag everyone, tag the artists, tag the bookshops and the bookish shops, book merchandise shops you bought it off, tag the publishers, tag everyone in all your photos. Don't tag randomers, but tag the relevant people so that those companies might share what you've tagged, they might comment on it, they might encourage people to go to your page, or they may eventually end up asking you to rep for them or to send you things. Finally, and this is like my most important piece of advice, guys, be yourself and be patient. Now, I know it's like super like, I don't want to be a motivational poster with a little kitten hanging off a tree. Hang on in there. But those two things are the most important things overall. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, if you're not having fun, if you're not talking about books that you actually love, if you're not creating content that you personally love, it is going to be so obvious. Don't take photos because you think it's what people want to see. Take a photo because it's what you want to see. Read the book because it's what you want to read, what you would want to talk about, because you're not going to be the only one. Create content that you're passionate about and other people will be passionate about it too. The be patient part is because you're not going to be an overnight success. It can happen, and it does sometimes, where people gain hundreds of thousands of followers overnight, but that is so rare. My followers I built up over a couple of years. I gained about 5,000 followers a year, and I'm sort of continuing with that amount now consistently, and that might be considered quite a slow growth by other people, but it's organic. I wasn't gaining followers artificially. I wasn't using bots. I wasn't using apps to like and automatically comment on people. That was just gradual organic growth, and that is the best way to do it, guys, because that is how you're going to get genuine engagement, and that is how you're going to genuinely make friends and become a part of the community. So just keep going, be patient, and it will start to pay off slowly but surely. This is a tortoise and the hare situation. Slow and steady does it, okay? You don't give up because you haven't become an overnight sensation. That's all I can say. But that's my advice, guys. If you want me to do a video, like I said, about Instagram in general, about taking photos, let me know down below. I can do those for you. But I would love you to put your Instagram link down below. Tell me your Instagram name. Let me know what's your style, what's your niche. What tips do you have that I didn't maybe cover? Anything and everything, put it in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you guys. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe, guys, seriously, and hit that bell button so you get a notification every time I post new content. But that's me for now. I'll see you later. Bye.